Now it's the Serbian project. The title is Perfect Place for Unhappiness. And Marko Kovac, co-producer, writer and director, will present the project. Let's have a look at the video.
Hello, I am Marko Kovac, Serbian director, writer and co-producer of the mini TV series Perfect Place for Unhappiness. My best friend Tosha and I grew up together, shared everything, and still today, 20 years later, I will do everything for him and I know he's always here for me. Just like the main characters, Goran and Damir, who grow up as best friends in the mountain region of Lika, in small village close to the beautiful Adriatic coast. Goran is shy and reserved, Damir friendly and restless. Damir helps Goran find a girlfriend and Goran does Damir's homework. A deep and true friendship. But in 1991 the war destroys everything by putting them on two different sides so that they can only look at each other at gunpoint. On February 11th, 1992, they even shoot and wound each other. Goran flees to Belgrade, Damir to Zagreb. The war broke them and their country apart. 70 years later, both have become artists in the same place at the same time, trying to forget the past and without knowing about each other. Both with deep wounds and traumas in their bodies, they tried to make a career in Paris, one as a painter, the other as a writer, barely making a living, struggling between the hopes of their own ambitions and a lot of disappointments of being immigrants in Paris. They are sharing the same circle of friends and events, completely unaware of the small distance between them, missing every chance to reunite when they get close to each other, until one Tuesday. Goran wakes up next to cold stone walls. It's his second day in prison. He walks into a big hall with a crowd of immigrant prisoners. He looks at them and then he sees Damir. Goran looks straight into Damir's eyes, 5 meters away. He slowly pronounces Damir's name, surname, date and place of birth. Damir does the same, and they fall into each other's arms and hug. A long hug, and then they cry. In such an unhappy place, both of them feel pure happiness for the first time after the war, but only for a short time. One is deported, the other stays in Paris to work as a street cleaner. Circumstances have separated them again. This is a story about true and deep friendship that even war could not extinguish. But this is also a story about being an immigrant of misery, of troubled artists in search of recognition, on the back streets of a metropolis that has always been intriguing and sensitive to me since I stayed in Paris myself in a way similar to these characters, with a sense of alienation, emotional turmoil, not fully belonging, trying to survive. An experience like many young people living the Balkans today. As a director, I want to make a series about being the wrong man in the wrong place, about changing roles and being mistaken as someone else. It's a dark humor in our Balkan way with the wounds in our hearts, connecting us to each other here and across Europe. It's 5 episodes of 45 minutes and is based on the novel by the prominent award-winning Croatian writer Damir Karakaš. The novel has been translated into many languages and critics in the region say it's one of the best books about the life of immigrants. His other 2 novels have already been adapted into successful and awarded films. We have script support from Croatian Audiovisual Center and a Croatian co-producer attached, and a very interested Serbian co-producer. We also have a synopsis for all 5 episodes. And now we are looking for co-writers and French co-producer for further co-development and production.
And now I would like to welcome Marko Kovac, writer, director, and co-producer attached to MK2R Studio, together with Magdalena Petrovic from Croatia and Leva Productions, to join us for the Q&A. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Magdalena, you are in Paris, right?
Yes, I am in Paris, but representing a Croatian company.
Oh, cool. And Marko is in Belgrade, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who's going to start first from the jury with questions? Let's see, from the ladies' team. Or Dari is brave enough. Dari, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I was just interested to hear more about the tone. I mean, because I get the friend's story and I think the Balkan War is of course a very dramatic backdrop to a story. It's such an incredible just such a horrific thing that happened. But these 2 friends, they go through so much, including shooting each other. So what would be the tone that you're looking for? How can we watch it and want them to get back together and all that?
Yeah, thank you. So the series is drama with elements of comedy and tragicomedy both. So actually it's a dramedy with a handful of lively Tarantino's dialogues, especially between characters. So it's some kind of our dark Balkan humor. And with a lot of comic situation over which difficult and tragic events stand, but also with the strong criticism of society and of official migrant policy of large European country. So I would try to build such a vibe not only in the dramaturgical sense, but also through the visual style, and also with use of sound and music. That is my biggest motivation and challenge to, at the same time, that atmosphere of big city, all-consuming city, and that contrast between Paris and the characters from Balkans. I plan to use raw and card sound like Mandalorian TV series, for example, or some kind of garage rock music, and with strong bass lines, melodic miniatures, for example, and interplay also between light and shadow, which can be also important. These are just some of the elements that would further evoke the given ambience.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dari. And anybody else for Marko and Magdalena on behalf of the jury? Solin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I think you are looking for a French co-producer. So I wanted to ask you, what is the stage of co-production as of now? I think you already have one co-producer. Do you have a local broadcaster? Can you tell us more about the production?
Yes. Thank you for the question. We are in early phase of development. So I am here as a creation producer, but as well as Magdalena producer, working with Marco to develop the project, to develop the package. So the next step will be, so we are still working very much, and the project needs work on rewrites, on developing the characters, on making them more round, more profound. Then the next step, well, it's in December. Marco will go, has a meeting with a big Serbian company who specialized in series, Firefly, and they showed interest few months ago. And I'm very happy how the project developed here during the workshop. So the next step will be this. Then we will pitch to broadcasters starting in Serbia. We will see what are the options in Croatia, but what is most important is find a co-producer in France. So this will be quite a challenge, but I think that this kind of project has chance in France. Especially as lately there are more and more co-production possibilities between France and the Balkans, organizing by their local funds. So I believe that this can be a topic that can interest international audience and international broadcasters and partners.
Thank you, Solen. Anybody else, or we can move on? I'll wait a bit. Okay, so this was the Serbian project.